Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. In our major story, the senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Uche Chukwumerije, is dead. The presidency has dismissed allegations that it spent 2 trillion naira on President Goodluck Jonathan's second-term bid. The World Health Organization says pesticide poisoning is the probable cause of 18 mysterious deaths in southwestern Nigeria. And outside Nigeria, major rescue operation underway after the vessel carrying between 500 and 700 migrants capsized in Libyan waters south of the Italian island of Lampedusa. The senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Uche Chukwumerije, is dead. He was 75. According to a statement by family representative Chidi, the senator died on Sunday after a long but gallant battle with lung cancer. The presidency has dismissed allegations that it spent 2 trillion naira on President Goodluck Jonathan's second-term bid. A national daily had claimed that President Jonathan had set up a panel to investigate the election expenditure. But presidential spokesman Ruben Abati said at a news conference that the presidency could not have spent half of the national budget on political campaigns. He also insisted that no committee has been set up as alleged in that story, while noting that the motives are suspicious. Abati wondered where the money could have come from at the time the country was spending so much on the ongoing war against insurgency and FAAC having to go to great length to ensure monthly disbursement to all tiers of government. The World Health Organization (WHO) says pesticide poisoning is the probable cause of 18 mysterious deaths in southwestern Nigeria. Those who died in Ondo State suffered from blurred vision and headaches and then lost consciousness before dying within 24 hours. A spokesman for the WHO said tests done so far had been negative for viral and bacterial infections. He said the current theory was that the deaths were caused by a weed killer. The outbreak started in the town of Oderele. All of those affected started showing symptoms between 13 and 15 April. The WHO spokesman Gregory Hartle tweeted, "Current hypothesis is cause of the event is herbicides, and tests done so far are negative for viral and bacterial infection." The tests were carried out at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, the WHO said. And following mysterious deaths in a community in neighboring Ondo State, Ogun State Commissioner for Health Olaokun Soyinka has assured residents that there is no cause for alarm in the state. It says the state had put on the alert the state's disease surveillance and emergency response teams. Shoyinka further explained that the residents of the state living in border areas with Ondo State had been advised against traveling to affected places. It says the two teams had maintained close contact with the Ondo State authorities. No fewer than 17 people had been reportedly killed during the week as a result of a mysterious disease which broke out at Odeirele in Ondo State. The symptoms of the deadly disease are said to be sudden outset of blurred or lost vision, headache, loss of consciousness, followed by death, all within 24 hours. It was reported that blood tests were being carried out and collected samples of the victims to ascertain if the deaths had been caused by ingested poisons or other infectious agents. Shoyinka said the disease surveillance teams put together by the state governor, Senator Bikunle Amosu, during the Ebola outbreak had been put on full alert. It said much mysterious deaths had not occurred anywhere in the state. A high chief of Odeirele, Ondo State, Moses Enimade, says the recent death of 20 youths in the town was caused by sacrilege done to Molokun, god of the land, rather than any disease. Addressing journalists, Enimade, the next in command to the town's monarch, Oba Cornelius Olariwaju Lebi, debunked reports that the deaths were caused by a strange disease or the dreaded Ebola virus. Instead, he said some stubborn youths broke into the inner room of Molokun Shrine on April 15th. It says Molokun is a deity of the land. Only the chief priest and high chief Bogro are qualified to enter the shrine. The youths entered the shrine and made away with traditional items in a bid to acquire extraordinary powers and engage in money ritual. If they were not qualified to enter the room, they had to face death penalty, he says. He says he could not remember the last time Molokun or any other god had to strike like this in the area. There is no community or town without its own culture and tradition. What happened in Irele is the judgment of the gods on stubborn youths, he added. Enimade says unless the gods are appeased, the gods says many will still die and will be buried according to tradition. Their corpses belong to the gods and will be exhumed if buried by their families. He added that death caused by Molokun is characterized by severe headache and blindness. The Nigerian Baptist Convention says it has contributed greatly to the well-being of the great country and will continue to do more to ensure total advancement of Nigeria and its people. The president of the commission made this known while addressing newsmen at the convention ground in Obinze, Owerri, Imo State. Our correspondent Ajibode Awofeso has the details in this report.
Speaking to newsmen, Reverend Dr. Samson Ayakole stated most areas the commission has added national values to the country, even as it aspires to do more.
We have been operating now in Nigeria for the past 165 years. Since 1850, Baptist denomination, Baptist Church, came to Nigeria. And we will recollect, those of you following faith, that we have influenced the national life in various ways. The Baptists that we trained and occupied important positions in the national life. The past president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, was happened to be a Baptist, and he attended one of our schools, Baptist Boys High School, Abeokuta. We have influenced national life in so many ways. We were the first in the country to establish the first secondary school in Nigeria, Baptist Academy in Obaneko, established around 1886.
The theme of the ongoing convention is praying and working for peace, which Reverend Sampson says it is what Nigeria and Nigerians need at the moment. He therefore calls on the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari to carry Nigeria along and keep to his promise.
I told General Buhari to keep faith with the people. He must do what he said he would do, which led people into voting him. He must stamp out corruption. Nigerians don't want corruption, a corrupt nation any longer. We don't want corrupt people any longer. they are cankerworms to the nation. And unless the philosophy changes, we cannot move anywhere.
Participants who came in from all over Nigeria testify to the timeliness of the event and says it provides solutions to the questions most of them have been asking. The resident pastor, Reverend John Uwachuku, also stated that the convention indeed will have a positive impact on Imo State and Nigeria at large.
That was said over Heartland and all that. We said it's going to really help Imo lives spiritually and materially, physically. Right now, many hotels, almost all the hotels in the where I've been talking, and get drivers and taxi drivers and operators are having their good time, with money, and I'm telling you, even market women and some hawkers right there at the ground are making so much money. It's helping the economy of the state. And again, but the most important thing is the spiritual aspect. During the evening rallies, people are going to be prayed for. We hear the word of God preached by seasoned men and women of God, and it's going to be a wonderful time of fellowship.
The event also called on Nigerians to be positive-minded and join in building our great country by avoiding all forms of evil. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
As the supplementary election looms in Imo State, the war of words between the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party in the state shows no sign of abating as both struggle to gain the attention of the electorate. Our correspondent Ajibade Awofeso again has more in this report from Owerri.
As the battle for who emerges the governor of Imo State in the supplementary election slated by the Independent National Electoral Commission gradually moves closer to its climax, an Owerri-based legal practitioner Ihediohama Akboye says politicians should shade their sword and wait for INEC's verdicts after the election.
On the winner of any election, incidentally that of Imo State, particularly the gubernatorial elections, was declared inconclusive. That means INEC is not in a position to declare any political party or the candidates of any political party as having been returned for that election. And by the provisions of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, it's only INEC that has the capacity and that has the power in the eyes of the law to make such a declaration.
Apparently not interested in this piece of advice, the two leading parties still continue to throw verbal missiles at each other. They also remain confident of winning the governorship poll.
But to the glory of God, Governor Tasokroja is a very, very popular governor. He cannot be brought down. The people of Imo State, they went out, they voted for him en masse. We were working on free and fair election, and you can see it. There are people, you know, they believe in rigging, and they believe in further.
The PDPs went ahead and did what they are known for. Talking about carrying ballot boxes, talking about causing havoc in polling units, molesting people, assaulting people, bullying people, propagandas, hiring thugs, and that led to cancellation of some booths.
Several incidences of ballot box snatching by the Deputy Governor is in Madonary in areas our candidate was leading massively. 2. The APC candidate and outgoing governor of Imo State, Chief Ethelbert Okorocha, embarked on a scheme of cajoling, intimidating, and threatening assigned officials of INEC in their duties to help salvage his predicament.
While this continues, Healthman of the National Emergency Management Agency in the state, Innocent Ezeaku, urges all residents of the state to exercise their franchise in an atmosphere of peace and resist those who preach violence.
And therefore, if we allow that to come and go inside, people are to be allowed to come out under peaceful atmosphere to exercise their freedom. Let there not be an atmosphere where people will find it to vote. The leader has to amend that atmosphere. And whenever a leader, whoever is the choice of the people.
While the people seems impatient, it is hope that the supplementary poll, when it eventually holds on the 25th of this month, will finally lay to rest the controversies surrounding the election. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
As the All Progressives Congress and its supporters still celebrate winning the governorship elections in Plateau State, the governor-elect Simon Lalong has called on the people to manage the extent of their celebrations so as not to threaten the fragile peace in the state. He stated this in Jos while at the party secretariat. Lalong later promised to pay up all outstanding salaries and arrears before he is sworn into office on May 29th.
Then we'll fight against insecurity. Now, what's the first change you will make on the plateau? The first change, for now, is payment of salaries. We're focusing on payment of salaries because we can't make people happy when others are, majority of our people are not happy about lack of payment of salary. Together with my deputy, my party chairman, we're working very hard. We're even believing, we're even thinking that we have a way of paying the salaries before inauguration. We will pay salaries before.
Lalong called on all Plateau people to team up with him to build the desired peaceful state that everyone expects of the Tin City. He also extended a hand of fellowship to his closest rival of the PDP, Giang Pwajuk, to join him in moving the state forward. This, many have said, is to avoid prolonged legal matters that could hamper on the smooth running of the new APC government.
We're also going to have an elders advisory council that will say that. So they will bring out so many things. They will bring out ways of reconciling people, ways of ensuring there's peace and unity on the plateau. That one is Shobaka. We're going to bring elders advisory council, which will be a reflection of all the major, the 53 or 52 ethnic groups that we visited during our town hall meetings. Your message to your fans now.
The governor-elect promised to reenact the Elders' Council in the state while promising that the issues that bother insecurity in the state will now be a thing of the past because unity will be the watchword of his administration.
Fairness and justice. Our one is fairness, equity and justice. Inclusive governance. We are going to carry a people along. So nobody is excluded. We started our campaigns and we ended up with all the tribes, ethnic groups on the plateau. So if you get these people united, where is insecurity going to come in? Who is going to make the state insecure? And it is when you leave people, the law enforcement agency will take their course. But you are found guilty.
Around the Tin City, it is yet to be seen how long the APC government in the state will keep to its promises. And now we'll take a break and we'll return with more reports. Don't go away.
Any tribe that rules has solid rules.
Rule number 1, friends stay close. Friends in the tribe, stay closer. Feel me?
Rule number 2, in the tribe, you always know what's up with Facebook, WhatsApp, VB, and Twitter. Guess what? It's free.
Rule number 3, there are no rules with SMS. It's endless. Yes, boss.
Rule number 4, enjoy very long conversations with that special someone.
Enjoy endless connections to your friends with free calls, free WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, and BBM. You also enjoy up to 200% bonus on your recharges to call all networks. Migrate now by dialing *312# and start a live endless connection.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thank you for being there with us. And if you're just joining us, it's the Core TV Primetime News. And here are the stories that made our headlines. The senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Uche Chukwumerije, is dead. The presidency has dismissed allegations that it spent 2 trillion naira on President Goodluck Jonathan's second term bid. The World Health Organization says pesticide poisoning is the probable cause of 18 mysterious deaths in southwestern Nigeria. And for more on Core TV News, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle @CoreTV NewsNG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV with a space for news. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose said his asking for forgiveness should not be taken for cowardice by his opponents, saying his survival in office will be determined by God. He said he took the steps to seek a genuine reconciliation with All Progressives Congress, whose 19 lawmakers of the Ekiti State House of Assembly plotting his impeachment in the interest of the state. The governor said this at the Thanksgiving service organized for him at the Cathedral Church of Emmanuel Anglican Communion, Ado-Ekiti, to celebrate his recent electoral victory at the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, the newly elected lawmakers in Ekiti State have admonished the lawmakers to stop fanning the embers of chaos in the state, saying Ekiti people won't allow the outgoing legislators destroy the state before leaving office. In a reaction, the APC lawmakers advised Fayose to stop inciting the people, saying his broadcast had demonstrated he was not committed to genuine reconciliation. As part of the fallout of the People's Democratic Party's failure at the last general elections, PDP chieftains are calling for the resignation of the party's national chairman, Adamu Muazu. PDP stalwarts say it is fitting for Muazu to turn in his resignation letter since he had been unable to take the party to victory. The PDP not only lost the presidential election to the opposition, APC, it also lost its National Assembly majority status and governorship seats, including state houses of assembly. But the embattled national chairman Muazu has said he would not resign despite the loss of the party he leads. Muazu said it was also wrong for anyone to call for the sacking of any member of the party's National Working Committee because of what happened to the ruling party during the elections. But Muazu, speaking through his chief press secretary, Tony Amadi, says rather than quit, he was going to step behind and reform the troubled party. The Lagos State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has berated Governor Babatunde Fashola and Lagos State Independent National Electoral Commission for refusing to conduct local council polls and abetting the continuous existence of undemocratic councils in the state. The party has also pushed for the use of permanent voter cards and card readers in the council polls. According to the PDP, the composition and existence of the councils as they currently stand is illegal, unconstitutional and an aberration as they are not recognized nor accommodated in any of the nation's or states' governing laws. The party stated that by Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, only democratically elected local government council is guaranteed. It is thus unexpected that a lawyer governor who claims to be a progressive and Democrat can continually disregard this constitutional provision and allow illegal and unconstitutional councils since October 2014, when the tenure of the last councils was terminated. The PDP consequently tasked Governor Fashola to prove beyond doubt that he is truly a Democrat by immediately ensuring that LASIEC releases the notice of elections for a free, fair and credible poll. The party also tasked the Lagos State House of Assembly to make necessary amendments to the present LASIEC laws to accommodate the use of PVCs and card readers to conduct the council polls. Ogun State's People's Democratic Party says it is heading for the election tribunals to challenge the victory of the ruling All Progressives Congress in the governorship and House of Assembly elections in the state. The party chairman in Ogun, Adebayo Dayo, insists its PDP governorship candidate, Boyega Isiaka, won in the governorship election, alleging that the APC rigged the polls by manipulating the scores at the collation centers. In response, the APC has debunked the allegations through the Director General, Senator Ibikunle Amosu Campaign Organization, Bode Mustafa, who described the allegation of rigging against the APC as unfounded. Mustafa insists the People's Democratic Party's governorship candidate, who had declared himself winner before the election was concluded, should be questioned. In his response, the Ogun State Resident Electoral Commissioner Timothy Bitoye claims Isiaka's allegations were untrue. June 12, 1993 remains arguably the freest and fairest presidential elections in Nigeria, but the March 28, 2015 presidential elections, with its unique feature of the use of card readers, is also seen by many as a credible one. Oluwaseyi Adegoke compares the two elections in the history of Nigeria and presents her findings in this report.
Ibrahim Babangida's military junta promised to return the nation to civil rule. Immediately, he overthrew the Buhari Diagbon regime in a coup d'etat. With this in mind, and after several failed experiments and promises, the June 12, 1993 presidential election was held in a very unique feature of direct election known as Option A4, under the direction of Humphrey Nwosu. The main candidates in the election then were Bashir Tofa of the National Republican Convention and Moshood Abiola of the Social Democratic Party. The outcome of the election was not in doubt, while inflation of figures by electoral officials was impossible because people lined up behind their candidates and results were known before the end of the day. According to reports, Moshood Kashimawo Lawale beat Bashir Tofa in his electoral ward, further proving his vast acceptance across the nation.
Suddenly, there was a letter served on me by Commissioner of Police that we should cease forthwith in releasing the results.
The 2015 presidential election has also come, with many also saying it is the best. The nation has come up with terms of election and the process leading to it. The big question agitating the minds of many is, which is the better of these two historic elections?
Abiola stood out as the person that the people really wanted. But then it was not the issue of cards, it wasn't the issue of this option that we are using, it was option A4.
Voted him as for Abiola, Kashimawo Abiola, Moshood Kashimawo Abiola. He won in the north, he won in the south, he won in the west.
The final word on this, however, came from this legal practitioner who says the 2015 presidential election, though very credible, can be challenged, unlike the June 12 presidential election, which cannot be challenged due to near absence of irregularities.
People voted mainly out of sentiment, not out of reason. This particular election can be contested.
People are tired of PDP-led government, especially as it has to do with corruption.
While the debate will linger for some time, observers still think the June 12 elections was crude in its concept, though effective with the result. But until the next elections, the discussion continues. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Abubakar Sarki Dahiru of the All Progressives Congress has won the Nasarawa State rerun for the Lafia Obi Federal Constituency seat at the House of Representatives. The returning officer for Independent National Electoral Commission, Uji Francis, announced the results in Lafia on Sunday. Francis said Dahiru polled 74,892 votes to beat the incumbent Joseph Kibu of the People's Democratic Party, who polled 70,302 votes. He said Nuruddin Mohammed of the All Progressives Grand Alliance got 1,419 votes, while Jonathan Dogo of the People's Democratic Movement polled 760 votes. He explained that the total number of registered voters at the constituency was 285,728, while 154,756 were accredited during the exercise. He said the total votes cast was 150,792, adding that 3,208 votes were rejected. The All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has boycotted the House of Assembly rerun elections in 4 local government areas. Candidates who contested the April 11, 2015 House of Assembly election on the platform of the APC say they are not interested in the rescheduled polls. The Independent National Electoral Commission had rescheduled elections in 6 constituencies of 4 local government areas where elections were judged inconclusive. Leader of the State House of Assembly, Chidi Lloyd, told journalists in Port Harcourt that the boycott was in line with the court injunction at the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, and restraining INEC from conducting the election.
The Independent National Electoral Commission to suspend the proposed elections at their court proceedings pending in the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, seeking to stop the elections. We believe that INEC, having been served the court processes on the 16th of April 2015, wants to ridicule the court and bring the court to contempt by going ahead, should they go ahead to conduct elections when such has been challenged in court. There are no national and international observers available to monitor the elections to ensure that they are credible, free and fair, as they have withdrawn from their roles and left the state in the wake of horrible violence, bestiality and disgraceful electoral malpractice recorded on the 28th of March and 11th of April 2015 respectively. To worsen this situation, there has been no official communication by INEC to us and our party, the All Progressive Congress, about the so-called elections due to be supervised by Mrs. Gesela Khan, whose handling of the recent elections have been most disgraceful and controversial. We firmly believe that exposing our good people of Rivers State to further violence in the name of fresh elections is not in the interest of the electorate. We are ready to serve.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees has donated agricultural inputs to 10,000 internally displaced persons residing in Benue. This is contained in a statement issued by Mr. Hansen Tampfu, the External Relations Officer, UNHCR in Nigeria, and made available to the News Agency of Nigeria. The inputs, which included basic agricultural items, were to enable the IDPs resume their farming activities distorted as a result of several communal clashes. It listed the inputs and other items donated as herbicide, high-yielding maize and rice seeds, household items, mosquito nets, among others. The statement also quoted Ms. Angel Kongwe Atangana, the UNHCR country representative, as saying that the aid will enable IDPs return to their agrarian life and begin to earn their income again. Handing over the items to the Benue government, the Kongwe Atangana thanked the state government for its continuous efforts to alleviate the plight of IDPs. Represented by Mr. Wahid bin Amo, the senior liaison officer, UNHCR UNHCR Nigeria, the Kongwe Atangana affirmed the High Commission's commitment to providing protection to IDPs across the country. Governor Gabriel Suswam, who spoke, assured UNHCR that the items would be distributed and utilized effectively. Suswam said Benue has a long-standing relationship with the UNHCR through the consortium of NGOs in the state, through which they have carried out several humanitarian activities. Nigeria's President-elect Muhammadu Buhari says he is in full support of the steps taken so far by the Nigerian government to protect the country's citizens from the wave of xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Buhari, who made the statement released in Abuja, says Nigeria's head of mission in Pretoria had taken the right steps by advising the Nigerian community in South Africa to close their shops, stay home and keep out of trouble, while ensuring that they obey the laws of their host country. Making allusion to efforts made by the South African government to curb the situation, he advised Nigerians in South Africa to, in the meantime, abide by the words of caution extended them by their government representative in Pretoria. Buhari also commended the Nigerian government for its decision to monitor the situation in South Africa and evacuate its citizens at any sign of escalation. In his words, "I am happy to see that the Nigerian government is very well aware of its responsibilities to its citizens in South Africa," he said. But he expressed sadness at the unfolding events in South Africa, recalling the friendly relations between Nigeria and South Africa since the end of apartheid. The People's Democratic Party has described as provocative and completely unacceptable the xenophobic attack on Nigerians and other foreign nationals in South Africa. PDP National Publicity Secretary Olisa Metu, in a statement in Abuja, says the attacks were outrightly barbaric, primitive, and cannot be justified under any guise whatsoever. Metu went on to say it was unfortunate and disheartening that South Africans, by this attitude, have shown that they are not appreciative of the roles played by Nigeria and other African countries in liberating the nation from the clutches of the obnoxious apartheid system. He said while the PDP was aware that the unfortunate incident was a fallout of incendiary utterances by certain leaders in South Africa, he called on the ruling African National Congress and South African government to take urgent practical steps to stem the tide and guarantee the safety of lives and property of Nigerians and other nationals targeted by the xenophobes. He also called on well-meaning world leaders, especially Africans, to stand up and condemn the dangerous trend, which he says was a clear threat to the much-desired unity, cooperation and development in the continent. The Nigerian Union in South Africa says it has concluded arrangements to resettle 50 Nigerians affected by the ongoing xenophobic attacks. The president of the union, Ikechukwu Anyene, disclosed this in an interview. Anyene says about 300 Nigerians were displaced at Jeppe's town close to Johannesburg. He also revealed that the union has presented relief materials to those affected by the attacks and are in touch with various branches of the union in the provinces on their safety and security. According to Anyene, Nigerian shops and businesses in Durban and Johannesburg have been looted and some burnt. He also says 2 shops belonging to Nigerians in Durban were looted and they lost goods worth 400,000 rands. Anyene reiterated the union's call to the federal government to put more pressure on the South African government to halt the attacks. Pensioners in Rivers State have appealed to the state governor, Rotimi Amechi, to pay them their 3 months pension arrears before the end of April 2015. The pensioners, who spoke under the auspices of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners Rivers State chapter, lamented that the state government had not paid them since January this year. A statement by the state NUP Chairman Mr. Edward Festus Abibo and Secretary Mr. Joseph Agbo disclosed that members of the union had been suffering untold hardship as a result of the unpaid arrears. explained that such ugly situation had not happened in the past, even as he wondered why politicians and other workers had received their pay to date except the pensioners in the state. It's noted that pensioners in the state were currently owed 6% increments since October 1, 2003 and 15% increments since 2007, adding that such increases had been computed and sent to the governor for approval and release of fund for the past 2 years. The statement added that recently pension increase of 33% has been approved with effect from July 1, 2010, and the state government had not implemented it. The Federal Airport Authorities of Nigeria has raised the Hajj Camp terminal of the Murtala Muhammed Airport, seizing and destroying goods. The special raid was supervised by the Chief Security Officer of the terminal, Uche Ukeni, who disclosed the arrest of a female suspect. Ukeni added that the suspect will be taken to the Tango City Police Post inside the MMIA for investigation and prosecution. 2 canopies alleged to have been illegally set up, one used as a church and the other used for selling assorted drinks, were discovered by the fan security men. Ukeni told newsmen that the agency carried out the raid as a way of sanitizing the cargo terminal and sacking touts and hawkers operating illegally in the area. He said the illegal activities often allowed people who have no business at the airport to loiter around as touts, causing unnecessary panics and mayhem. He added that the female suspect arrested during the raid claimed to be a food vendor, observing that there was nothing to prove that what she claimed to be during her arrest. He explained that any person interested in operating businesses at the airport should contact the commercial department of FAN for documents and approval. And now to sport. Fabian Delph destroyed Steven Gerrard's hope of a fairy-tale Liverpool send-off by scoring the winner as Aston Villa reached the FA Cup final with a 2-1 victory on Sunday. Liverpool captain Gerrard, who turned 35 on the day of the final, had hoped to bring down the curtain on his Anfield career with a 3rd FA Cup medal. Philippe Coutinho gave Liverpool the lead at Wembley with a deflected finish in the 30th minute, but in form, Villa striker Christian Benteke equalized 6 minutes later before Delph snaffled a 54th minute winner. It has been 15 years since Villa last reached the FA Cup final and 58 years since they achieved the last of their 7 successes in the tournament. But victory was just a reward for a side who has been transformed since Sherwood succeeded Paul Lambert as manager on Valentine's Day. Lionel Messi hits his 400th goal for La Liga leaders Barcelona deep into stoppage time to seal 2-0 win over Valencia on Saturday. Barca have 78 points, 2 more than second-placed Real, with 6 games to go. Uruguay striker Luis Suarez continued his lethal form with a clinical low strike inside the area after being set up by Messi with less than a minute on the clock. Suarez's goal followed his midweek double that clinched a 3-1 victory in the Champions League quarter-final first leg at Paris Saint-Germain. Valencia missed a golden chance to equalize against Barca in the 10th minute when Dani Parejo's penalty was saved by Claudio Bravo after Gerard Piqué had bagged into the back of Rodrigo Moreno. Real Madrid's trophy aspirations could well depend on how well they cope with an injury crisis that sees Gareth Bale and Luka Modric in the treatment room. Both were substituted during Real's 3-1 victory over Malaga in La Liga on Saturday, and tests have been carried out to establish the extent of their injuries. Bale appeared to hold his calf and Modric his knee, and at the very least, they both are likely to miss Wednesday's Crunch Champions League quarter-final with city rivals Atletico Madrid, and the contest tied at 0-0 from the first leg. Karim Benzema also missed the Malaga match with a knee problem, but the club are more optimistic that he will be ready to face Atletico. Novak Djokovic set another career record on Sunday with his second Monte Carlo title as the Serb became the first man to win the opening 3 Masters 1000 events in a season through a 7-5, 4-6, 6-3 defeat to Tomas Berdych. The top seed, who lives just a few hundred meters away from the center court, had to survive a comeback from his arch rival as well as a 70-minute rain interruption, which came as a led by set and 3-2 on serve in the second. Djokovic's victory was his 17th straight win of the season and also marked a 4th straight Masters 1000 title after also winning at Paris-Bercy last November. Djokovic now owns 52 career titles and 23 at the elite Masters level. It stands 19-2 over Berdych and 32 this season. And now to other stories outside Nigeria. Major rescue operation is underway after the vessel carrying between 500 and 700 migrants capsized in Libyan waters south of the Italian island of Lampedusa. Since the start of the year, at least 900 other migrants are thought to have died crossing the Mediterranean Sea. In the past week alone, Italy's Coast Guard rescued 10,000 migrants whose vessels ran into trouble. The Italian Coast Guard says the operation was still confused on search and rescue, but in time it will be a search for bodies only. And 20 ships and 3 helicopters were currently involved in the rescue. The migrants reportedly fell overboard when they rushed to draw the attention of a passing merchant vessel, causing their ship to capsize. Pope Francis expressed his deepest sorrow for the sinking and appealed to the international community to prevent such incidents from happening again. It was the Pope's second appeal in less than 24 hours. On Saturday, he backed a call by Italy for the EU to intervene to stop more lives from being lost. And that's it on the news tonight. Before we go, a recap of our major stories. The senator who represented Abia North Senatorial District, Uche Chukwumeride, is dead. The presidency has dismissed allegations that it spent 2 trillion naira on President Goodluck Jonathan's second-term bid. And finally, the World Health Organization said pesticide poisoning is the probable cause of 18 mysterious deaths in southwestern Nigeria. And that's it for tonight. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Ebulomo Adekunu, wishing you a pleasant night rest.